Okay, let's unpack this. We've been looking at the source material for the Aurora Multimedia IBT-1-BX.
Right.
And this one piece of hardware seems to be tackling, well, one of the biggest headaches in professional AV.
Absolutely. It's that trade-off, the one between simplicity and scale. That's really our mission for this deep dive, to figure out how this box breaks that mold.
For years, it's been, what, HDBAV for simple jobs?
Simple plug and play, but limited in size. Or you go with AVoIP for massive scale, but then you're dealing with complex network configs and sometimes, yeah, noticeable latency.
And this is where it gets interesting because this isn't standard AV over IP. They call it IP-based.
And that's the key.
So the big takeaway right up front is that this thing is a building block, a standardized block that lets you build something huge out of simple parts.
Exactly. I mean, the scale they're talking about is pretty staggering. You can use these little boxes to create up to a 255 by 255 matrix.
255 inputs and outputs.
All 4K 60, 4.4.4. And you're doing it with just a standard network switch. It's a huge system.
Okay, hold on. If you're managing hundreds of streams, the phrase plug and play just sounds a little too good to be true. How does IP-based get around that AVoIP configuration nightmare?
So that's the secret sauce in their protocol. Think of it like this. Normal AVoIP makes you build a custom superhighway for all your data.
Right, with all the complex IGMP settings and, a ton of IT involvement.
IP-based is different. It's designed to use the switch only to glue the devices together. The intelligence isn't in the network setup, it's in the box itself. It really shifts the burden away from the installer.
So the complexity moves from the network rack to just setting an address on the box.
Pretty much. And the hardware itself is flexible. It's a transceiver.
Meaning you can set it to be a transmitter or a receiver?
Yep. For a simple point-to-point, you set one as a TX, one as an RX, address 0, and you're done. Connect them with a cable.
But for that giant matrix,
you just start addressing them from 1 upwards. And the routing is done with simple multicast or RS-232 commands. It feels like a traditional matrix controller, but it's all on a super scalable IP backbone.
let's talk performance, because claims are one thing. They're promising 4K 60, 4.4.4 with 0 frame latency.
And those specs are really important here. 4K 60, 4.4.4 means you're not compromising on color detail. That's crucial for things like medical imaging or detailed graphics.
Not just watching a movie.
Right. And 0 frame latency means the delay is imperceptible. It has to be for things like live events or using a keyboard and mouse over the system. It needs to feel instant.
So what's the box itself like? What do we plug it into it?
It's got everything you'd expect for a pro install. You've got your HDMI in and out, of course. You have the IP-based LAN port for the main signal.
Okay.
And critically, an SFP slot. That's for single or multi-mode fiber, so you can do really, really long runs.
And it's a PoE LAN port, which is always a lifesaver for installers. Less wiring.
A huge lifesaver. And the unit is incredibly efficient. The sources say it can run on as little as 3 watts.
Wow. And they've also included all the control stuff, right? I see RS-232, IR, CEC, and importantly, USB 2.0 extension.
That USD support is a game changer for KVM in modern conference rooms. You can send your keyboard, mouse, and webcam signals right alongside the video.
Now let's get to the money part. The sources make a big deal about this being TAA compliant and made in the USA.
Which is a massive deal for government or federal contracts. And being advertised as tariff-free helps keep the cost predictable.
And what does that cost? The price today is listed at $898.
Per unit. And when you think about it, building a huge matrix at under $900 an endpoint without a multi-$1,000 central chassis, that's an extremely competitive price.
So when you connect all the dots, this isn't just a new product.
No, it's a system change. It's taking the power of a massive zero-latency 4K matrix and making it simpler and more affordable. It's moving AV from specialized, expensive hardware to something that looks a lot more like standard IT infrastructure.
Which brings us to the final thought for you, our listener. If this single piece of hardware can manage 255 simultaneous 4K streams with 0 latency, all using standard network gear, how quickly does that traditional centralized AV matrix hardware become, well, functionally obsolete for any large installation? That's the question this tech forces everyone to answer.